Hey there, it's Yasmine. Welcome to another episode of the Breath of Fresh Air show, where we talk about life, joy, and purpose. We all experience moments where we feel uncomfortable in certain situations, such as a presentation, job interview, social interactions, or public speaking. In fact, 75% of people rank public speaking as number one fear. It's feared even more than death. But how can we overcome insecurity so we can go out, show up, speak up, share our gifts, and find purpose in life? Let's dive into it. Insecurity and social anxiety is something I dealt with firsthand, and I know exactly how it feels. I still do it to some extent. It's still there in the background. The difference now is that I've applied the strategies I want to share with you today. I still apply them, and they help tremendously when it comes to showing up and presenting whatever I have in my toolbox with more confidence. But what are we afraid of? For some people, it might be related to past memories where we were once embarrassed or ridiculed. But if we go deeper than that, the root of our fear is a primal instinct. We evolved to be part of groups as a survival strategy. Since our earliest history, we have needed to band together in order to survive. Anxiety about social interactions is your brain trying to keep you safe. The voice of anxiety sounds something like, people won't be interested in what I have to say. If I make a mistake, they will laugh at me. I'm not cool enough. I'm not good enough. Essentially, it is saying the group won't like me. I won't be accepted. I will be left out. Either way, to the survival part of our brain, the situation looks dangerous. Your body gets ready to fight, flight, or freeze, which means physical tension, shaking, sweating, rapid heartbeat, forgetting what you are about to say. Once in motion, the cycle of fear builds on itself. Have you ever experienced that? I sure have, and I still do. I guess most of humans do. We are all in the same boat. It's essentially fear of rejection, and in an attempt to avoid rejection, we can separate and isolate ourselves even more. People turn down jobs, interviews, opportunities, social interactions, and wonderful opportunities to open up and connect, which means opportunities to feel a sense of belonging. Avoidance doesn't help. It can only make it worse. But how can we overcome insecurity? How can we stop being so self-conscious? How can we feel comfortable in our skin when interacting with others? It takes curiosity about your mind, self-observation, thoughtfulness, and determination. We can try to rationalize it and reassure ourselves with affirmations such as, I'm good enough, I'm capable enough, people like me, and so on. Although that might help, if we don't look at the root of our fear, our habit of fearful thoughts can show up again whenever we are too distracted to practice our affirmations. The following 4 steps have been very effective to me and others, and I hope they can help you as well. Step 1. Whenever you observe fearful thoughts going on in your mind, ask yourself, are they really true? Before a situation where you feel self-conscious, notice your thoughts and ask yourself, is there any truth in them? Separate what are facts and what's just your thinking. For example, let's say you're asked to give a speech at a wedding. The thinking might sound like, gosh, I don't have anything to say. They won't like it. I'm not good at public speaking. I'll be made fun of. Sound familiar? The truth is that no matter what you say, some people will like it more than others, and that's okay. Another truth is that people deserve to hear what you have to say because we all have something valuable to share. When you speak to a group of people, it's natural to want to belong. Speaking in groups helps us connect. Keep that in mind and practice it. Speak it out loud. Speak to yourself. And imagine yourself in that situation. And keep in mind how important that is to fulfill this need of belonging. As it's true with every fear, the more we face it, the more we overcome it. Second, be present. Practice being present as often as possible. When you train your mind to be in a state of presence, you can be present in any situation. And that helps tremendously with any fear, any insecurity, because we tap into that space where we are naturally confident. We naturally trust ourselves. We naturally feel like we belong. It's that space and state of presence which is beyond our thinking. And a person who is present is magnetic. Have you ever felt that around certain people? There's just something magnetic about them. Remember, our fear here is of rejection. So when you are in a state of presence, people are going to naturally feel comfortable around you as well. Something that helps is also to change your body language. Roll your shoulders back and down. Stay proud in your chest. Spine long. Deep breathing. Change your body language, and that will send a message to your mind that you're present. You're ready to show up. Breathe with awareness. And trust me, this is a practice on its own. It's a practice for life. Practices that help you train as a state of presence can definitely help, such as breath work, yoga, meditation, playing an instrument, anything that requires concentration, requires presence, can help you train your mind to be in that state of presence when in social interactions. A present and focused mind is what it takes for those inspired commentaries to come out. Third, focus on a reward rather than what can go wrong. Showing up to situations you normally feel uncomfortable with, such as speaking to a group, a job interview, a presentation, or speaking about your work to a group of colleagues, is rewarding no matter what. Even if something doesn't go as planned or something doesn't go as perfect as you expected, it's already rewarding. That will give you an opportunity to practice, an opportunity to go through that experience and face whatever you're afraid of. When we go through the experience and face our fears, we realize that they're much bigger in our heads than they are actually in reality. If you practice to be present and focused while interacting with others, you're going to gradually see how rewarding that is when you truly connect with somebody else. When we are trying to fake or trying to pretend or say something that we just think we should, or we are too caught up in our heads and worried about what people are going to think about us, that's when superficial interactions happen with no presence at all. It's just a superficial conversation that we soon forget about it because we are not even there. Does it make sense? My invitation here is to practice communicating with presence and seeing for yourself how much that sense of belonging is going to show up. Remember, that's what we need to overcome this vicious cycle of avoiding rejection, isolating, but deep down, craving connection, craving a sense of belonging. Practice presence, communicate, focus on that huge reward, which can potentially transform your life. Finally, get in touch with your essence. We get too caught up in the idea of who we should be, who we should become, who we should appear to be, that we forget who we truly are under the layers of these limiting beliefs and conditions we place on ourselves. That's when we overthink about being inappropriate, because we are so disconnected from our essence, from who we truly are, that we are constantly feeling inappropriate, because there is a fragmentation between who we truly are and who we are trying to be. To get in touch with our essence, I found that instead of asking, "Who are you?" it's more effective to ask, "Who are you not?" This story about who you think you are, who you can be, who you cannot be, who you think you should be, does that really define who you are? Are you really the thoughts that go on in your mind? Some days are good, some days are bad, are constantly changing, transitioning through your ups and downs. Do your thoughts really define who you are, since they are just moving and passing by? My invitation here is to get in touch with what stays under the layers of thinking, of conditioning, of beliefs, of your story, of past memories. Your essence is like a diamond covered up with layers of conditionings, of your story, of things that hold you back, things that you believe in. So the key here to overcome insecurity and get to the root of the problem is not to create a new you, a new character, a new identity, a new layer, or behave the way you think you should behave, as if like, now I'm going to behave like a confident person, I'm going to speak like that, No, it's really just allowing yourself to be you without worrying about who you should be. Who are you without those stories? Who are you without those fearful thoughts? Who are you without those past memories that you might feel embarrassed in the past? Again, this is something I've dealt with firsthand and still do. I know how it feels to feel insecure, to feel scared. And I see the benefit of allowing ourselves, instead of trying to build a new identity, as many out there recommend, I see that as often adding more thought, more thinking, more should be, more should not be. How about you simply let go and be yourself? Remember the situations where you feel comfortable. I'm sure there are places, environments, and people who you feel totally comfortable with, where you allow yourself to be yourself, to be playful, to be jerky, to be quirky, to be funny and stupid, to be just who you are. We often hold back from expressing who we truly are because there is so much information out there about who we should be, and that adds more thought in our mind. The only thing you need to do is to make it a habit to observe your thoughts with loving awareness, and observe if some of those thoughts are going by your mind. And when you notice them, just let them go, because what stays is your essence. What stays when there is the thinking, when there isn't, when you're comfortable, when you are uncomfortable, when you're self-conscious, when you're not self-conscious. It's always there. So make it a habit to observe and be aware of those thoughts, so they don't become your reality, so you don't have to feel and experience your thinking as if it was a reality. To help you with that, you can journal your thoughts, you can meditate and observe with mindfulness, any practice that helps you staying present so you can observe these thoughts. The more you observe your thoughts, the more you realize you're a naturally confident person beneath the layers of fearful thoughts. When we feel like the world is against us, the life is happening to us, and we are a victim of our thinking, we should stop and ask ourselves, Is my diamond shining right now? Or am I caught up in my thinking? Are my thoughts really real? Am I behaving from my essence or from the stories I create in my mind? When we are able to see potential in ourselves and others, when we are able to see beauty, when we are able to see possibilities rather than limitations, when you're able to feel grateful just for being alive, it means we are in touch with our essence. It means our diamond is shining. So here is a quick recap of the 4 steps strategy. Number 1, ask yourself, are my thoughts really true? Is there any truth in them? Second, be present. Presence is a practice on its own, and the more you practice, the easier it becomes to stay in a state of presence. Third, focus on the reward. Think about all the rewards that come out of showing up, of speaking up, of connecting, of feeling that you belong, of interacting, sharing, exchanging. So many good things come out of facing your fears and seeing that they are much bigger in our own head. And last but not least, get in touch with your essence. Whenever you feel afraid, whenever you're holding back, ask yourself, is this coming from my true self or from the stories I'm used to think in my mind? I hope this was helpful. Let me know, what was your biggest takeaway out of this video? What did you find most helpful? I would love to hear from you. And I look forward to see you next time. From my heart to yours, live a life with purpose. Second, practice